empty boxes coming into your place. And when you start packing those boxes somewhere, I know people who just packed where they were going, but they started packing. Only keep what you need to live off, what you want. Don't deal with the ones you want for luxury. Let's stick to the ones we need to live off. Very, very important. Try to maintain a simplistic life. Once you have it in your mind, you want to move into the countryside, it means live and putting it in the if your finances are low, if you move temporarily with someone else.
I think it's the network. It's a network.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, can hear you.
If your finances are low or limited or challenged, see if you can move in temporarily with someone else who is already in the countryside. Share the bills. If you are single, join up your finances with other singles. If you are a couple, try to join your finances with another couple or family. Reduce your monthly bills and spend by looking for less tariffs, phones, companies, insurance, all those types of things. Get rid of unnecessary monthly spends. Let's talk about temperance. Let us be temperate in all things. So try to get rid of unnecessary monthly spends. If it's not something you need to live, then really think about it. Show God you mean business by dipping your toe into the river. Trust him. He will definitely help you. In 2014, Errol and I felt a deep conviction to live a simpler way of life. And we decided to sell our mid-terrace house of 14.5 years to pay off our debts and to move into rented accommodation. So we rented briefly so we could think about our next move. We were also receiving Bible studies, which started that deep conviction. We started to understand about the end times and what was taking place and what we as SDAs needed to do to move according to God's plan. So in 2015, we watched an Out of the Cities webinar. Now, the reason why we watched this together was because a dear friend of ours called Jackie called us one Sunday morning early. It was something to 8 a.m. And she says, Joni, the Lord has impressed on me to call you and to let you know that there is a country living webinar on YouTube and it's going to be live starting tonight, which was a Sunday night. So Errol and I watched the first episode. We could not stop watching it. For the whole 7 nights, we watched every single episode that Elvin Bridges was putting out there on YouTube about the reasons why and the importance of leaving the cities. It was absolutely amazing. And when we watched that series, Errol and I looked at one another and we said, what are we going to do? We've got to do it. We've got to leave the cities. It's going to get worse. And that is what we did. We prayed about it. We assigned a day to have prayer and fasting, just the two of us. And we prayed to God to show us the way. And then God provided our country home. Now, let me tell you something. When we decided to get rid of our debt, we were left with hardly anything in our hand. I'm telling you, when we paid off our debt, paid off our bills, and we only had a little bit, and we thought we don't have enough to buy land. We don't have enough to buy a mansion. We don't have enough to do anything like that. And it was totally a leap of faith. When we decided that we wanted to look for our home that you can see on the right-hand side, I'm talking to you right now, the lady, a dear friend of ours called Dave, she attended church service and she was presenting that day. And Errol and I said that we were going to be looking at places in the countryside in Wales. She did not know us from anywhere. She's as young as our daughters. And she said, you can come and stay at mine for the weekend, and then you can go to your appointments. That was amazing because we were total strangers. This lady at the age, in her very early 20s, can you mute your mic? Whoever's just entered, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. This young lady took it upon herself. God led her to the countryside. And I believe if Dave is listening in, I think it was at the age of 23 years old. That's quite young. Single young lady moving to the countryside. And she is in that beautiful little cottage that we stayed in for that weekend up to now. She went down there. She stayed with friends. She managed to get herself together till she got her own property, her own country, cottage in the countryside, and it's a beautiful location. So God bless Jackie, God bless Daisy, God bless my brethren who encouraged us time and time again to make the move into the countryside. So the static sits on a working farm nestled in the hills about 1.5 miles off the nearest road. That is why we have problems with internet coverage down this side. It's 20 minutes drive from the nearest and 5 minutes drive. Well, we also grow our own. We're not agriculturalists, but we certainly grow our own. We certainly grow our own. And in the first bed, we're growing potatoes. Second one is our herbal bed, and that has feverfew, lemon balm, rosemary, oregano, hyssop, garlic. I can't remember. There are two more. I can't remember them. And then the third one is black mint, Korean mint, spearmint, and then we're growing carrots and beetroot, rhubarb, squash, courgettes, and that's what we're growing at the moment. So by God's grace, they will come through for us. So what I'm say is that you can start small, start where you are. We never imagined that we would actually be staying or living in a static caravan, never in a million years. Our dream, as it were, was to be in a beautiful big mansion in the countryside, and it wasn't to be. That's what God provided for us, and we have been here now for nearly 5 years. What do we love about our home in the country? Peacefulness, road noise, no pipping of horns or sounds of sirens, less traffic, a lot less traffic, the fresh air, the birds in the presentation, the eagles flying in the air. We like the sound of the animals on the farm, the ducks in the pond. I never heard a woodpecker in my life. It was only on that Woody Woodpecker cartoon when I was growing up that I heard it. But I heard a woodpecker, owls at night. That is what we hear. We drink water from the tap because it comes from a 300-foot well, and it does not have any taste at all. And what I'm doing, if we can do it,
John, we're losing you. You're breaking up badly.
The Lord for myself, but the Lord. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but there's some other people who haven't muted their mic, like Mike Hall.
Oh. So I hope that you heard the presentation. I'm sorry about the signaling. So research for opportunities. The opportunities are out there. There's something called the Sustainable Living in the Countryside Initiative. Search on the internet. Consider renting. There's absolutely nothing wrong with renting. Rent. moving with somebody else on rent, split the bills. Consider living in a mobile home or a static caravan, preferably away from entertainment or holiday sites. Do not restrict yourself. Do not say to the Lord, I want to be in the countryside, but I don't want it to be A, B, or C. Do not restrict yourself. And consider using shipping containers. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope that it was useful to some of you, or most of you, or all of you. I haven't got anything to add, but you're going to hear more from the Sullys later on. Will be a blessing as well. And I'm sorry for the noise levels. Please mute your mics, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
Can I? Sorry, I did put on the chat whether that Elvin Bridges video link could be shared. Is that possible? Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The Elvin Bridges videos that you discussed. Is it possible to share that with us? The link.
I will put the. Hello. I'll put the link on the chat.
Thank you.
So what I'm going to do now is, thank you for listening. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Lucille. Lucille?
Hi, Joan.
Are you?
I'm here.
Hi, Lucille. Over to you.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you. It was a fantastic presentation. I learned a bit more about you and your journey to country living as well. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to start doing this straight away, just in case we have any technical issues. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm sharing my.
Hello.
I'm sharing my screen at the moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially what I'm going to see, great. So essentially what I'm going to talk about is the British Union Conference Restoration on Convalescence project. So this is an initiative that has been set up by Sharon Platt McDonnell, and she's the BUC Directors for Health, Adventist Community Services and Women's Ministries. And she's working in partnership with One Vision, which is linked to I think it's Stanborough Church or Watford Church, a church down south somewhere. And also she's working in association with Manor House. And this BUC Restoration Convalescent Project is about COVID-19 and the people who have been affected by this horrible disease. I'd like to share a text from Jeremiah 30, verse 17, which says, "For I will restore health to you and heal you of your wounds, says the Lord." That's a beautiful promise God gives us, that for every sickness and wound, he is able to restore restoration. Jeremiah 30:17 is certainly a comforting and empowering scripture that we can refer to in times of challenge and times of need. So the reason why most of us are here now is because we're in lockdown, and it has generated some opportunities. AGMM is an opportunity that we've developed from this lockdown. But as a result of this global pandemic, it's quite apparent that COVID-19 has caused immense loss, pain, and suffering. In particular, when I'm looking at the news report and the pictures on my internet of people who have died as a result of COVID-19 and reading their stories, I noticed that a disproportionate number of those people are from Black and minority ethnic groups. You know, we have a discussion about why that may be, but there may be a number of factors that we are not sure of. But what we do know is that those people who have survived may be still suffering the devastating effects of COVID-19. Also, we personally may know people that are grieving the loss of their loved ones. I hate to think that I have someone who I love very dearly and that they died on their own in hospital. And those people are grieving that loss. It's hard enough to lose someone, but not to be there when they've died is very, very painful. Added to that, many of those people who have died have had a quick funerals. And I know within our communities, we love to have big funerals where we remember the person that we love. But there is a practical level that we can do as medical missionaries, as a community as well, where we can help those people. And as such, the British Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventist Health Ministries is launching this project, the BUC Restoration and Convalescent Project. So what we're finding is that an increasing number of people on their discharge from hospital are encountering various challenges when they return home. So for example, some people have reported that they continue to experience breathing difficulties and significant fatigue. So is everyone still hearing?
Yeah, yes, we
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Yes.
You sound very, very quiet. I'm just wondering if I'm speaking to myself.
No, we're enjoying it. Carry on.
So what we've noticed that people who've had COVID-19 are still having lung problems, and some are reporting that they're feeling very flat and low in mood and even quite depressed and tearful. And for those people who have been ventilated, they're experiencing muscle weakness and emotional issues. Others have reported the ongoing fatigue to an extent that they're unable to adequately care for themselves. So this prevents them from getting out to shop for essential household items. So the launch of this convalescent initiative is designed to help those people. So we've got the One Vision Project. We've also got counseling. Terrell, could you put your
I already started, Mia.
Terrell, we can hear you. Could you mute your mic? So they're also working with Councillor Martins, who's a mental health champion for Watford. And we're also, the Stambra Press is supporting.
We can't hear you now.
Lost the sound.
Lucille.
I'm muting myself. So the Stambra Press is supporting this initiative with leaflets and books for the community. So in essence, this project is going to provide daily meals, weekly shopping, relevant books and material, counselling support and convalescence. So it's going to be on over 3 phases. The first phase is, okay, hold on, this is the first phase, or phase 1, is delivery of daily meals to homes in the Watford area, weekly shopping to the Watford area, and a wellness bag, which has healthy foods and material, books and leaflets about emotional, mental, spiritual well-being, and also counselling support for individuals in the Watford area. So this is where they're testing out the approach to see how effective it is, and they're trying it first in the Watford area. So the second, the second phase is phase 2, where they're going to provide meals for volunteers who are collecting food for those in need outside of Watford and across the London area. Again, they're going to provide wellness bags or boxes for people outside Watford and across London. And they also want to establish hubs for the storage of essential household items. And the final one on phase 2 is, again, provision of relevant publications on physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. And the third phase of this program, this convalescence program, is for those people who are actually who have had COVID-19, and they are no longer self-isolating, but they're experiencing that post-viral fatigue and emotional and even cognitive issues, that they experience a period of convalescence at Manor House Health Education and Wellness. We know that a change of environment for an initial period of 7 days in a supportive environment will be extremely therapeutic in helping to restore strength and energy, as well as boost emotional and physical well-being. So Sharon Platt and I keep on going the wrong way. Sharon Platt and I are planning for the recovery program to commence from the 31st of May for a week, with a week off to deep clean and disinfect the premises. So all this is based on the fact that we get the release of lockdowns. So there is some lifting off those rules. Prices we anticipate start at £125 per day, with the expectation that people will stay for a minimum of 3 days to gain some therapeutic benefit. Also, please note that there is limited part funding which has been provided by the British Union Conference Health Ministries Department to assist individuals who may experience financial challenges. So they may have difficulty to pay for the money. There is some limited funding. And what we're saying is that the first 10 people who apply for the program who have financial challenges, they will be offered that limited funding. The convalescent program, as I mentioned, will be operational once the lockdown has been eased and hotels, guest house, and other establishments are allowed to return to normal business. So, some numbers for you to take if you want to take a picture of that, a picture of the screenshot. So, if you are a church or if you have a ministry and you want to take part in the restoration program in your particular area, because remember, we're saying we're looking at Watford first, but we would like to roll that program out across the UK. So if you want to take part, please email Sharon Platt MacDonald. Her email address is on the screen. If you want to, if you want to be able to give some wellness bags or box to somebody, ring Enoch, and his phone number's on the screen as well. And if you're outside the Watford area and you personally require counselling, then ring Counsellor Martins on his mobile number. Or if you are a counsellor and you would like to offer your services, again, contact either Sharon or Counsellor Martins. And finally, if you would want to or you know somebody who would benefit from coming on the convalescence program, contact Manor House, and the email address is there, or ring that number. So again, this is Manor House, and this is our contact details if you need to speak to us about the convalescence program.
I'll send it to you. So I want to get for Dandelion.
Okay. We can hear your conversation. Okay. We can hear your conversation. Now, yeah, if you could just mute. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lucille,
Just
for
not
your
moving.
presentation.
No, I'm saying it's just not moving.
I'm sorry? Thank you very much, Lucille, for your presentation. That was very, very helpful.
You're welcome, Joan.
Yeah, to know that this great work is going to take place in the community, and I know that there are a lot of people who needs it, and I know there are a lot of people who have come down with this disease, and then it's about getting them on the road to recovery. So wonderful, wonderful. So the next person I'm going to call on, Sylvie, is going to do a demonstration, a small presentation on the benefits of cayenne pepper. Sylvia, are you ready?
Yes, John, if you could allow me to share my screen, please.
If you click, if I ask the host to allow you to share your screen.
You can share her screen.
You click on the green button at the bottom that says, yes,
I got it.
I think you're coming. Oh, wow. Oh, nice. Oh, la la.
Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sylvie from Nature, Health and Salvation.
We can't see you.
You can't see me?
No.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, because she's presenting.
Yeah, but she can undo her video so we can see her.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute, please. Where am I? There. Can you see me now?
Oh, lovely. Yes.
Hi, everyone. It's Sylvie Mutesi from Nature, Health and Salvation.
Hi,
hello.
Sylvie.
And hello?
Go ahead, speak.
Yes.
Hello, we can hear you.
You can hear me. Oh, good. So on top of all the lovely presentations that we've already had, I just want to just demonstrate very quickly the benefits of cayenne. Cayenne is a power medicine, is a power natural medicine that we all need to have in our homes or in our little bags when we're moving around, because cayenne is so powerful. It has an ingredient called capsaicin. Yeah, capsaicin. So that ingredient is what we need for our bodies, and it has so many healing properties, and it works on so many chronic diseases or ailments or pain in our bodies. Ignore my jar. When the package comes, I like to put it in a glass jar so I can keep it for longer, and when it's tightly covered. So what does cayenne do? Cayenne can stop a heart attack. And we have seen this happen so many times. And this is good science already there, which you can actually go and check it out for yourself, the benefits of cayenne. But for this presentation, we just wanted to open your eyes to the benefits of cayenne. Cayenne can help, can boost your metabolism. Cayenne can help on digestive problems. Cayenne can improve on psoriasis issues, and it can also reduce the risk of cancer if it's something that you're putting in your daily diet. If you have a habit of, you take a habit of taking it at least twice a week, or for the people who are in pain or they have digestive issues or they're suffering from chronic pain, cayenne has pain relief ingredients. So cayenne is something that to have in the house. And how do we take it? If you're not well, first of all, we always say that seek medical advice, because we are not trained medical doctors, but our God said, let your herbs be your medicine and be your food. So we want to promote being able to treat yourself in your house. What do you have in your hand? These are things that we should equip ourselves with. We should have our food as our medicine. Excuse me. And cayenne is one of them.
That's what cayenne does to you.
That's what it does. It's right next to me, so it's triggering my sneezing. But anyway, the way I like to take cayenne, every now and again I have it. Excuse me. It's very strong. I'm sure you can see from my sneezing. So I have a little, half a tablespoon, a quarter tablespoon. Mix it with a little bit of warm water, like so, like that. And have it as a shot. It's gonna help you on your pain. It's going to give you circulation in your body. It's what it does, that it pumps the blood where it's needed in the body. And that's what cayenne does. It's literally, it goes in your bodies and identify the place where the pain is, or the place where there's less oxygen in the body, and it will pump the blood there. So you take a shot of cayenne if you're in pain, or if you have digestive problems, or you need, your metabolism is not working well, or you have arthritis, any kind of pain, cayenne can help you. Okay, this is something that you really need to carry. Sometimes what I do is I put some in a little jar like that, and another thing that I like to put in my jar is charcoal, because charcoal is also a very good thing to have in our handbags, women, because when you're moving up and about in the trains, on the bus, or on the plane, someone can have a heart attack. And what you do, you just put a little bit of cayenne under their tongue and it revives them. They come back. We have seen this happen. A friend of mine was traveling, was going to go to the airport, and she normally takes the cayenne with her, but that time she kind of forgot it at home. And you know, sometimes God is sending us on a journey, not for our own selves, but for others, you know, to be able to help other people. She forgot, and right in front of her, when she reached at the airport, the person fell down, and she was crying out and saying, everyone, does anyone have any cayenne? And they didn't have any cayenne. And in that moment, she really felt bad. She could not get over it because she forgot her cayenne at home, and she knew that if she had it, she could save somebody's life. Cayenne has helped my mom. She's been diabetic, but right now she's been able to manage the diabetes, because she puts cayenne in her daily life. So cayenne does a lot of things. So go and search about it, look into it, and have it. And what you need the medicinal one is, you need to buy the 90,000 heat units. That's the minimum of heat units that you need. And that's the medicinal one. There are so many on the market, which is like just curry powder to use in the cooking. That's not the one you need. The one you need is the 90,000 heat units. Minimum of 90,000 heat units is what you need. It can go up in that figure, but if you can get 90,000 units, you're good to go. So that's a little bit of my cayenne. I hope you've been able to get something out of it. Thank you so much. Over to you, Davina or John. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In 1 second, Joan, I noticed someone want to post a link for Uganda cayenne, really good cayenne. Please do share the link. Let it pass right around. I am your first customer.
Yes, thank you very, very much, Sylvia. I have been trying to answer the chat, so I'm going to go back to the chat once I present our next presenters. So I'm now going to hand over to Michelle and Robert Sullivan, or otherwise known as the Sullys on YouTube. Is Michelle and Robert online?
Yes, they are online.
Okay, Michelle and Robert.
Welcome.
Welcome. Are they on mute? Let me just see. Oh. Michelle and Robert.
The Sullivans, let me unmute them. Okay, they're on mute. No, hold on.
Yeah, can you hear us all?
Yeah, we can.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome
morning,
to
brother and sister.
the meeting. Yes, good morning. It's nice. So we are handing the floor over to
Joan, your reception is really bad. Basically, welcome Michelle and Robert Sullivan from this lovely, lovely, cold, beautiful Scotland. A very good friend of ours, and they've done exceptionally well by moving away from exactly where I am living now and got up into the country, and they've done it successfully, and they've done it by faith. I just want to really emphasize that. And now they are going to share their resources with you. And please, pen, paper, and faith, come to the board right now. Welcome, Michelle and Robert. It's all yours.
Amen. Amen.
Hi there. Okay, I mean, we only have 20 minutes, and so we were asked to share our testimony, which we realized would be almost impossible to do in 20 minutes. But we can give you a summary of, you know, a little summary of our journey. So
yeah, and it is really as a way of encouragement. So for both of us, I grew up in the church as a young person, but I never had a connection with the Lord until a number of years ago. So you know, I was just going through the motions, you know, working hard, this, that, the other. So you know, my experience with God was well, there wasn't an experience. And my wife, she didn't grow up in the church or anything like that. She grew up in a secular household, secular family, no churchgoers or anything like that. So we got together. We had our first son when we were still quite young. We then got married. Then my wife got baptized into the Adventist church.
And then he was rebaptized because he was obviously disfellowshipped when we were together.
That's right. But during all this time, the point was that we didn't really know anything. And I don't remember, even when I was growing up, anybody remotely talking about deepening their walk with God, following God's impressions in terms of country living, homeschooling, any of these things. These weren't available to us. So we didn't know any of this. But it was really just by providences of God and the situations that we were going through with having a lot of problems with our eldest son. We were looking for a way out, and we were looking for answers. And we were seeing that within our church environment, we weren't really being able to get any answers. But it just so happened that as my wife more so was reading more and more of the Bible and Spirit of Prophecy, more so in the Spirit of Prophecy, she was finding a lot of counsel there to do with raising godly families. And so one of the things that we saw was this whole idea of coming out of the city, moving to the country. And that country living message wasn't a message necessarily for families. It was actually a message for God's people. So the message is irrespective of if you have children. If you have children, praise the Lord. But even if you don't, the message is still the same, that as a people, we should have never have been in the cities. You know, we should have only probably been there when we were in an unsaved, unconverted state. But then when we understood God's message, we would have then understood that we have a duty to now withdraw ourselves from the city environment for all the harms and all the ills and all of the rest of that, and actually seek God in the quietness of the country, the quietness and the stillness of the country. And that message is still the same. So we initially, when we were thinking about country living, we were looking at Wales. I'm sure maybe a lot of people have thought about Wales, and we know lots of families who've moved to Wales, and we were thinking that might work because of its closeness to London, because I was still working in London, so I was thinking that. But in the end, the Lord providentially had it that we would move further afield to Scotland. And again, we don't have any family outside of the south of England, London specifically. So this move to Scotland was going to be a move by faith, because for most people, they would have rather have been closer to where family are, where friends are, church family, potential work, this, that, the other. But moving to Scotland meant that we had no safety net. We could only rely on what God was going to supply us with. It was an easy move, but that was only because we put our faith completely in God. So what I mean by that is that we didn't try and figure out everything. We didn't try to have all of our ducks lined up in a row, as some people do. Now, the inspiration does tell us that we should have a plan, and we should put our plans to the Lord. So that's not negating that. We should always have a plan. But the point is that at the end of the road, you need to have faith to step out in faith, because if you wait for all of your eggs to be, all of your ducks to be lined up in a row, it may never happen. And that may mean that you may never make the move. And it also may mean if you line up so many eggs, so many ducks in a row, then when you think about it, how much faith do you need to employ? If you've got everything figured out, if you've got your house figured out, your job figured out, the school, then where's God in this picture? And so there has to be an element of faith. There has to be an element of trusting God's word. For example, relying on the promise, you know, my God shall supply all your needs. So if this,
according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. So when we think about his riches, you know, his riches, they just go on and on. So
they're endless. And so whatever need, financial, family support, whatever, we're told that God will supply that need. So that may mean, and I know for some people that has been the case, and for us it was the case, when we left, for example, I had my mum, who was quite elderly at the time, and she was in an actual care facility, and we had to leave her because we couldn't take her with us. Now, I know for a lot of people, because of a family situation or an uncle or an aunt or this, that, the other, they put this as a reason why they can't move to the country. But at the end of the day, we've got to take God at his word. God has asked us to do this, and he will provide. He will make the lack. So 12 years ago, we moved to Scotland, not knowing anybody, not really knowing what we were going to do. And to be fair, it's actually been a complete life change.
I just want to jump in and just add that we did actually want to take your mum. We wanted to take his mum with us.
Yeah.
Although it was counselled at that time that it wouldn't be wise to do that, because sometimes with the level of support that she was receiving, and when you move, it can actually affect people's health negatively. So it was wiser to leave, to keep her where she was. She was happy there. So that was just as a point.
Yeah, but we're just saying that again as a point of encouragement, because I don't know your situations, but I do know from speaking to other families, there's normally people like the idea of country living and they really want to do it, but there's normally something that's standing in the way. It could be a family member. It could be, as I said, it could be work or lack of work.
But we also have to remember what was said to Abraham. He was asked to leave. You know, he was told to leave his family. You know, the way that life was set up in those days, you know, they moved in camps. So you would have had a couple of generations of people living together. So it's very unprecedented to actually move away from your parents and to move away from that camp and basically just sort of like set out on your own and not even knowing where you're going. So, you know, but God in Hebrews says that Abraham was counted as being faithful because he did that. So it's just
added to his righteousness.
Added to his righteousness. That's right.
Yeah. So the thing is, we have to be faithful with what God is asking us to do. And at the end of the day, what we found is that moving to the country does not guarantee, you already know this, but moving to the country does not guarantee you a place in heaven, you know, as in because you keep the Sabbath, that doesn't guarantee you a place in heaven. Do you understand?
It's that relationship.
It's having that relationship with God and following God, following his lead, so that when he says, go to the right, you go to the right, you know, because you love him and you want to obey him. And really moving to the country, that's what it's all about. It's following God's lead, allowing him, to really provide your needs, because there may be situations that come up that you can't figure out, but you have to just be able to rely on God. And I say this as a cautionary note, because we know, unfortunately, of families who have moved to the country and then moved back to the city, because the experience, what they thought it was going to be, it didn't work out that way. But the move to the country is really, it's like a heart move, putting your whole trust in the Lord and seeing how he will provide, how he will lead. Oh. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, so we've been here, as I said, 12 years in Scotland, as a secular. Well, you can just say, just quickly.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, he was a DJ. He owned his own carpet business, and I actually thought that I was going to be being dragged around to doing the DJing for endless ages. But obviously the Lord had different plans and worked it out in such a way that in as much I met Robert, and yeah, I basically got baptized. And even then it wasn't even the beginning of things. Well, I suppose it was the beginning of things, but things didn't really kick off then. But like Robert said, I did start reading Ellen White's books. Robert was totally into watching TV 24/7. So he'd be downstairs watching TV. I'd be upstairs with my pile of books. And I remember reading through some of these things, Adventist Home, Country Living, and all of these books. And I'm like, wow, and it just gave me a picture into a different life. And I would go to him and say, why aren't we I was thinking to myself, why aren't we doing these things? I don't understand. You're the Adventist. I'm not, okay, I am now, but I wasn't at the time. Well, I was, because I'd been baptized, but I didn't grow up Adventist. And I'm like, why aren't we doing these things? But 12 years on now, and we've been in the, well, it's obviously been longer than 12 years since I read the book, but it's been 12 years now in the countryside. And I think that the one thing that we regret is actually not doing it sooner. I think, if we could have our time over again, we would have, when we got married or whatever, we would have just moved to the countryside immediately. The benefits cannot be spoken of.
No,
it's something that you have to experience. You don't realize the benefits until you actually are there and you're spending time. You wake up in the morning and you look out your window and you see the forest. You can see the forest in the distance, and you see squirrels running up, and red squirrels running up and down the trees, chasing each other. Birds trying to come into the bedroom. I don't know why they're doing that, but it's just such a blessing. And then with that, the Lord also led us to new occupations as well. And because we were both in telecommunications industry. Robert was doing what were you doing? Business consulting, and I was doing sort of project management stuff. And when we came out here, of course, we didn't have any of that. So we had to think of what we should do next. And it was at that time that, actually it was kind of out a little of frustration, because it didn't seem as if we were really getting anywhere fast. We were just kind of here, but, we weren't, we didn't know what to do with ourselves initially. And then we went back to country living. But this time, we went back to country living looking for different answers instead of, how to move, when to move, and all of that. Well, we're already there now. Now, what do we do? What do we do for an occupation? And everywhere I was noticing, not only in country living, but child guidance, fundamentals on Christian education, Adventist Home. I was just seeing it everywhere. Agriculture, 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 agriculture. I just kept seeing it all over the place. And so we sat down. I said, Robert, I really think we should be doing some sort of farming or something. And so long story short, that's hence having my coat on. We're actually out in the field at the moment, just rotivating some of the plots. But then the Lord led us into agriculture. But, the point that I'd like to make is that over the 12 years, the Lord has really opened up our minds and our eyes to see his original plan for his people.
Mm.
And I would like to put it out there and say that we are, as a people, we're so far from the plan that he has for us. His plan is so broad, it's so wide, it's so high, it's so deep, you know, and I just think we're so missing out as a people. We're really missing out, and we're only just getting a taste of that because we're just kind of in the beginnings of the farming and everything. And what I'm realizing, when you read and you study the scriptures and you study the writings of the prophet, you will see, it will paint a picture. If you could draw or paint what you read, it would paint a picture of an agrarian life, you know. And it takes you back to Adam and Eve when they were first placed in the garden, and God gave them that garden as their dwelling place. And he gave them the earth to till, and he gave them the soil to work, to grow. And we're told, as Ellen White says, that the treasure is in the soil. You know, it's the food that you grow is there to sustain yourself. You can actually earn a living from it, a substantial living. You know, when we were both working, we were both on 6-figure incomes. And doing a market garden, even as we are, just on 1 acre, could easily make up for what we've given up, very, very easily. And then, you know, so it's such a blessing all round. It's a blessing for the children. It's a, you know, academically, intellectually, being in the soil actually builds their intelligence. You know, it builds the intelligence. It builds our intelligence. It helps us to understand the scriptures more. You know, and there's so many beautiful quotes that you'll find.
No, there's so many quotes.
So
it's
many
unbelievable.
quotes.
I mean, the thing is with this is that, and I'm sure you guys already know this, is to seek God's will in whatever it is that you're about to do, whether it's where you're thinking about country living, whether you're thinking about occupation, because God already has the answers. And I'm confident of what you're going to find, because it's going to be this, you're going to come across the same things, the same quotes, the same principles that we've come across. So this is nothing new. It's just that as a people, I'll say we've forgotten it, because we used to live it as a people, but we've forgotten it. If you look at us as a people now, generally, as a people, we are very worldly. We work as the worldly people work. You know, we eat as the worldly people eat. We're just very worldly. If we're honest, that's how we are. But God actually has a particular plan, and it's completely the opposite of what we're used to and what we're accustomed to.
Well, I think, you know, the academic or the educational system is partly to blame for that, because we all, let's face it, we've all been to, you know, standard schools, and we're trained to come out, you know, very cookie cutter. You know, you get your education, you get your job, you make your money, you get a better job, you make more money, you buy your car, you buy your house, you get your kids, they repeat the same thing. And in generation after generation, we just repeat. But I think we need to break that norm, and we need to come out of that, and we need to learn to be self-sufficient. We need to allow the Lord to put us outside of our comfort zone. We need to allow the Lord to exercise our faith muscles. And we need to just do the things that he's asked us to do, however uncomfortable it feels or looks. And, you know, there's been many things that we've had to overcome, like Robert's, I wouldn't call it so much a phobia, but dislike of dirt and mud, you know, initially sort of stepping through mud, like, oh, you know, now he just goes tromping through it, you know. So it's just, it can be simple little things like that, to that overall kind of fear of the unknown, you know.
Yeah. Can I really put my trust in God?
That's right.
Is he really going to provide for me, you know? Because this is it, because we say it and we sing it and we preach on it, but are we actually putting our full trust in God?
And that's the thing that we've had to learn over the 12 years. We've really had to learn to put our faith and our trust in him. And there was a quote that we looked at this morning. If I bring your phone over, will it still work?
Oh, you know, just paraphrase it, just in case.
Yeah, okay, about his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Do you remember?
Yeah.
See, because we take on the world's yoke. You know, we take on, you know, like debts and loans, and we just live, I mean, not everybody does, but we live life in such a worldly way. and we take on the maxims of the world. But the maxims of the world is wearing a yoke that God has not given us. He says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So it means you still have to wear a yoke, but you have to choose what yoke that is. Is it going to be that yoke that is outside of God, you know, which it's heavy and it's hard to bear? Or do we just put on his yoke? His yoke is easy, he says, and his burden is light. But when we're putting it on because we're not used to it, we're like, you know, but we've got to just put our trust in him. And when we actually start wearing it and have that peace and understanding that he's in control now, he's at the helm, you know, whatever happens, it's his responsibility. You know, it's a completely different life experience, and it's where we need to be. And even if things do go wrong, because we need to learn, you know, we were just reading in a quote a couple of days ago that we need to have joy in the Lord during sunshine and storm. Storms will come. We will be tried. There will be afflictions along the way, you know, but what we have to know is that where we've actually allowed the Lord to lead, he's led us into those afflictions, he'll see us through them. And nothing will happen without his first approval. Okay, so anything that comes our way is because he's given it to us, and he knows that we have enough strength to bear it in him.
So just on the practical side, so at the moment, oh yeah, this may come up anyway, but we're farming just under an acre of land, and we also so we got the farm, and then we also run like a microgreens business as well, which as of a couple of weeks ago we were supplying just restaurant, so commercial customers with microgreens 365 days of the year, and then May through to October we have food, veg, and strawberries that come out of the ground as well.
I just want to add to this faith thing and this promises of God. You know, we the majority of our income at the time was coming from microgreens. We were supplying microgreens to the restaurant chef trade, and as you know, what with COVID, that basically collapsed overnight. So we were prepared at that time to just pull in the belt and actually just have a little bit of a break, because we don't really get much of a holiday at the moment, and just kind of coast it for a while, see through the COVID. But, you know, of course, you know, we still have bills and things like that. So our prayer, you know, was like, okay, Lord, what would you have us to do now? And so with that prayer, long story short, the answer kind of came, because all of a sudden the Lord provided a different way. And that was our veg box subscriptions just went through the roof. And so where we were kind of hoping for a little break, actually we became busier than ever. And so, you know, so where one door closes, the Lord opens another door. And it's been so busy, actually, it's put us behind in the field by about a month, but that's okay, you know. So it's just to show you that God can be trusted, and he hasn't forgotten us even through COVID. In fact, he's increased our income somewhat.
And just to add, just finishing up, Davina, the last minute or so, just to add there, to put things in perspective, going back to just trusting God. Here's the reality. The reality is that if for whatever reason that the scientists who are talking to the government about COVID, if the scientists suddenly realized that the spread of COVID was so rapid in the cities that they're going to actually lock down the city and people have to move out to a country location, how quickly would it be that we would be able to get out to the country?
Well, people would leave very quickly.
We could move very quickly because it's a government mandate.
But the question is when God asks us.
But God has asked us, and it is for our betterment. It is for not just physical, but spiritual, mental. There are all the reasons under the sun that God has asked us as a people, come out of the city, we're into the quiet, where you can commune with me and get close with me. The end is coming. COVID is here, and COVID will come and go, and something else will come and go. If we read Great Controversy, these things are going to happen. So that's not our benchmark to whether we should do this or whether we, you know, the benchmark is what has God said, and God has already said, come out, and the best time to come out is now. To be honest,
you still can.
whilst you still can, not by any sort of oppression or anything like that. And praise the Lord, in this country, anyway, in the UK, we still have the freedom. You know, certain things are being locked down, you know, but, you know, we still have the freedom.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my prayer for everybody, and I know we're going to go into Q&A, is, you know, take these things to the Lord. The Lord has 1,000 different ways to provide for us, of which we know
none.
We don't know anything. We actually don't.
And isn't it exciting that he has this sort of like,
he's just got,
all these
he can do
ways,
anything,
you know,
anything to help his people.
You just got to believe.
Yeah. Believe and pray and act. Yeah. So,
questions and answers.
Davinia,
questions.
Sister Davinia.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Michelle and Robert. There are actually a number of questions for you. And one is, could you tell us a little bit more about microgreens?
Yeah. Okay. So very quickly, microgreens, well, I mean, they're kind of like sprouts in the sense that what they look like, but they're a seed that's grown on the top of the soil. They're not buried under the soil. And
there are
one or two
varieties you do put under the soil.
But the majority of them are grown on top of the soil, and
we grow them in trays.
Yeah, and they take about.
Live.
Pardon?
Are you able to show?
Oh.
We don't have any at the moment because we powered down the microgreen room when the government announced what they announced. When all the restaurants closed, we powered down the microgreen room. But if you call us back maybe in a couple of weeks, we can show you because some of the retail veg box customers have now asked for microgreen. So we're going to power the room back up again.
But just
how far do you do the retail veg box? So could we get over this side and London?
Unfortunately, just in Scotland, just Aberdeenshire.
Just our local area. In fact, we've got customers constantly pushing. They're constantly pushing the boundaries. I just had a phone call this morning from another lady who wants us to go another 15 minutes further out. So, yeah.
So what if you get a few extra drivers? Wouldn't you be able to distribute to other locations like London?
Yeah, not London, Davinia, not London.
Okay, Joan, I know you're probably on to the questions. You want to share some of the questions that have been come up in the box? So Michelle and Robert, please.
Yeah, the first one was being how many acres, and also the second, how do they manage with the vitamin D issue in it's not much sun?
Yeah, okay. I'll just mention very quickly, we've got about an acre, I don't know, it's like 0.8 or 0.9 of an acre, which we grow on intensely. So the whole idea is, and there's a really nice quote, the Ellen White, where she talks about this fact that, you know, we could have an acre or two, but if you work it with God's way of doing things and with his providence, it can be, what's the correct?
It's like an acre can become 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you work it intelligently, and there is much information out there, even we could share, where that can be done. Where you can basically turn, for example, one bed, you could turn that over several times in a season. So, for example,
by growing quick growing crops.
That's right. So you could, for example, put radish in. They're a 30 to 40 day crop. When that's finished, you crop it out. You
put in turnips, 40 days.
Prep the bed. You put in something that's another 30 days, and so you can see that now that bed doesn't just have something in there for 3 months, but you can have something in there all the time. So that just gives you a very quick example.
Yeah. So the 1 acre, if worked intelligently, can be like 4 acres. So that's the idea.
7 or whatever it was.
Yeah, to do with the vitamin.
Yeah, but the actual property that we are on is actually 3 acres in total. But the actual field that we actually grow on is an acre, and then we've got the microgreen room as well. Vitamin D is not a problem. We just take lichen, vitamin D3, 5,000 international units daily. Or 20,000 international units 2 to 3 times a week. So we've been tested. We usually go and have annual testing done. The first 7 years of being here, actually, I wasn't taking vitamin D. It was a problem. But to be honest, I wouldn't worry so much about Scotland because the whole of the UK, I think it's something like if you're 37 degrees, to have optimum vitamin D coming from the sun, you need to be 37 degrees south or north of the equator.
It's not the UK.
And the UK doesn't fall within that. So anyone in the UK, especially if you're dark skinned, you need to be supplementing with vitamin D. So we give it to our children, we give it to ourselves. I was below when I had my first reading about 7 years into being in Scotland, my reading came back as unrecordable and I was suffering. I was really not feeling great. And then the doctor gave me vitamin D3. I changed and got my own. And then we went away to Europe for about 6 weeks. Sort of Italy area, that kind of thing, that sort of way on the equator in the summertime. And then I came back and I was back in normal range. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. I think Joan got knocked out of the room. She's on her way back in. What I want you to tell us, Michelle and Robert, is a lot of people are convicted and they know they need to get to the country, and a lot of people are planning to go there as soon as the bans are lifted, right? But people still are trying to figure out how they're going to survive when they get there. I know, when you taught me, you know, on the Adventist Agriculture Group, by the way, which is probably going to be full after today. So WhatsApp group, right? So when I saw how you did the microgreens, right? I just literally just blew me away, because it is such a simple way. What it says is you don't need riches. You don't need to have to go to the bank and ask your manager for a loan or present any pitch to anybody who is rich. No, just from your shopping money, you can save a little bit and start your microgreens, and it can mushroom from there. And I just want you to explain to them, where is your microgreens room that you are talking about? You know, just to let them know, it's not a cottage. It's not a separate place.
When we do the agriculture one, then we can show you the room as well, because it's completely powered down right now. It's actually black in there right now.
But just to put things in perspective, so we were supplying quite a lot of restaurants in Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Inverness,
Dundee, Perth.
Yeah. And all of that operation was being done out of what room was it?
Well, it was kind of a homeschool room, but it's the size of a good sized dining room, really.
Yeah, out of a room that was going to be used as a dining room.
It would have been used, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we were doing a lot of vertical growing in there. We had all of our lights.
The shelves are going up.
Yeah.
And then lights and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we could easily have a good, maybe 200-300 flats in there, or no more than that.
More, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And our trays are about, I don't know, maybe 12 inches by 9 inches. And so we could probably have a good 300-400 trays.
Yeah.
In there.
But you know, if you move somewhere where there's a garage, like if we were planning before COVID to move the production into the garage can do, I mean, that room, if it's at full capacity and you've got everything going out to restaurants, it could make about, is it 5,000 a month. If you put that into a garage and you kept that room and you had another, say, 3 times, I think it's about 3 times.
2 times. I think
it was
two,
three. Yeah. Well, for maths, you can say 3 times. So you can do, like, out of a good sized double garage, you could probably do about 15,000 a month, probably coming out of there in revenue.
Yeah, of microgreens.
And the profit margin is about, your profit is about 70%.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right. So we've got
that's a fucking profit margin.
Sorry, questions are coming up on the platform. Questions are being answered, but I know there are some that may need to be thrown out to Michelle. Lucille, are you able to say any of the questions that Michelle and Robert may need to answer that may have gone up in the queue? Because Joan keeps getting kicked out of the room.
Oh, somebody just said, I think you guys should set up a training school. It's something we would love to be able to do. In fact, we were talking about this last night.
Okay, in terms of school, yes, I was talking to Robert about that. Right, so the Association of Gospel Medical Missionaries International is setting up a Bethesda Uniservity, right? And a part of that, we will have Adventist agriculture. And we will have Michelle and Robert on board.
Yeah.
So,
amen.
Yes. Were there any questions that I may have missed that for Michelle and Robert that have gone up through the line? I know Lucille has responded.
I just saw a question asking about how do we get contracts with the restaurant.
Sorry.
And oh yeah, so I was just gonna say, how do we get contracts with the restaurants? Really, it's a probably two-stroke, threefold thing. And this is just how it works. Number one, whenever we need new customers, we just pray to God, because we're very kind of real with God. So we're like, look, you brought us here at the end of the day.
I've got to add this, right? We had a certain amount of microgreen customers, and we have a prayer list. The prayer list on one side is our personal prayers, children, family, stuff like that. The flip side is our business, because it's God's business. And for the last about 3 months, we were praying for the Lord to give us more customers. We went from, can you hear me okay?
Margaret, can you mute, please? Margaret Smith, please mute.
Okay,
we were supplying, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually, restaurants take a lot of product. So we had about 25 customers. We went from 25 customers, 3 months of praying, to 200 customers, literally in the last
overnight.
6 weeks.
Wow, amen.
Hi, I did unmute because I had a question actually, and then I got carried away when you were talking about something else. I asked a question which was, the Spirit of Prophecy Council is to move to the towns first and then to the country. But I feel this sense of urgency. Oh my goodness, do I really have time to go to the town? I didn't know if you had any thoughts about that. I mean,
and it's a very, very good question. Thankfully, yeah, anyway, I've done quite a lot of reading on this myself, and yeah, she does actually say that. But if you look at the chronology of when she actually said that compared to when she's saying come out, come out. So there was this kind of, before that, there was these kind of precursory, you know, when you can do this and take even steps and blah, 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 you know, and that's all nice. But if you read a little bit of history and this, that, the other, and you know what happened just before 1888 with the A.T. Jones, Wagner, sorry, with when, what was his name?
It was the...
was it Jones?
Yeah, when he went to the courts because they were planning on bringing in the Sunday law.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So straight after that, if you look at the quotes, if you look at the dates,
Blair Bill, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's
Blair
the one,
Bill.
the Blair Bill.
Amen. Yeah. So if you look at the quotes that Sister White is talking about, then you'll see that her tone has completely changed, and she's get out to the country. Get out to the country.
Yeah.
So you know.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there's a couple of questions from the chat room. So one of the questions are, how are your children coping with the transition? I know you said it's been 7 years since you've moved, but also how do you balance having a full job and also homeschooling as well?
Yeah, very good questions.
Okay, it's been 12 years actually that we've been in the countryside. And we have older children and younger children. The first eldest child was actually out at Fountain View Academy whilst we moved, at the time that we moved. He grew up rather secular. So, you know, because we were secular. And he didn't really take to it. He was kind of up and down. Sometimes he was really loving it, and other times he just like wasn't. But you know, he's almost 30 now, so he's away doing his thing. Our daughter Talika, how old was she when we moved? She was 14, I think. 14, I think she was 14, and she embraced it, loved it, you know, and has always sort of embraced it and loved it. But she's not at home now. She's working. She's away. We have, to be honest, the younger children have not known any different because this is where they've been born and raised now, so they don't really know anything else, so thankfully. So what would you say?
But with the older ones, obviously you have that challenge because, you know, we're on a road with the Lord,
that can be contrary to
what
they
know
want,
to what they want. And so as parents, you then have to make certain decisions, which, you know, this is where you need to have a relationship with God. You need to know that God is leading you, because you're going to potentially make decisions which, you know, that maybe some of your children, 16, 17, 18, 15 even, they may not want to come with you. What are you going to do? You know, mum, dad, I'm not coming. I'm going to run away from home. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go with my girlfriend. I'm going to go with my boyfriend. You know, but we need to know, has God called us? Is God going to see us through? You know, is God about keeping families together? Yes, he is. But at the end of the day, the enemy is like a roaring lion. So we have to know that this is it's a spiritual battle. But we have to be doing what God has asked us to do.
We need to make sure that look, the best place to be is on the side of the Lord.
In God's will.
And whatever affliction may come or trials that come during that process, it's better to be in the Lord rather than saying to yourself, well, actually, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that because of blah, blah, blah. Because then you're still going to have you may still even have a set of trials. They just be different. But you're always going to have it in the back of your mind, oh, you know, maybe I should have done what God had asked me to do. So for us, anyway, we've just decided that wherever we feel strongly that the Lord is leading us, we'll just go. And whatever the fallout is what the fallout is.
But we will trust him.
You know, but we will trust him because we can't see the end from the beginning. Only he does. So we have to just do what God is asking us to do, period.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle and Robert. All right, I've got Tonette, Stuart, you've got your hand up. Tonette? Okay, I'll move on to the next person.
Can I just check? I did ask this question a while ago about the mobile phone contracts. Is that on your list to be answered, sister?
What about just ask the question quickly.
I've just asked twice on the chat whether, is it the right time now to be entering into mobile phone contracts lasting 2 years? Even if it's at a cheap rate of like £20 a month, should we be entering into these contracts knowing the times we live in?
Yeah, very good question. From what I understand, and I understand the urgency. There's some stuff in the Old Testament which talks about when you're dealing with loans and things like of that nature, and it talks about a 7-year period. So, for example, if you took out a loan, you should try and actually pay that back within 7 years, because
somebody says mortgage, a mortgage loan, let's say.
Yeah. That would be the same principle that would apply, that you've got 7 years. So 2 years, I wouldn't, you know, I'm not saying me, forget me, but from what I've read in the Bible, I don't see that as being a problem. Where you may have a problem is where you're taking out credit or a mortgage or something like that, and it's more than 7. Taking out a 25-year mortgage is not a problem, but as Christians, we should be looking to pay it back within 7 years. You know, because a 25-year mortgage, you'll get a very good rate. Pay it back within 7 years, and there's ways you can do that. I mean, we don't have a mortgage at the moment, and we are looking to buy land by God's grace. And that being the case, if we had to go the route of a mortgage, we would be looking to get rid of it within 7 years, if that was the situation.
I want to add something to that. We have clear counsel. You can find it again in Ellen White's writings, that when we're doing medical missionary work, if you're setting up something we're thinking of doing is setting up a cafe. And if you're setting up something that's in the city as an outreach, we should not enter into any extended contracts. And at the end of the day, it's because we already know that God is going to be visiting the cities, because the cities are wicked. And so we don't want to be investing in the city. So you wouldn't buy or take a mortgage out on anything that's in a city. You just lease it. You just take a lease, you know, and you take the lease as short as possible, or with a get out clause it's easy to come out.
Okay, thank you. Mike MC, I'm unmuting you. Could you ask your question, please?
She has asked already. She has asked already, Davina.
Okay, all right. I see Joseph hand up. I'm not sure if that's for a question or that's just a part of him being the host.
Somebody asked a question about homeschooling. I didn't answer that bit about being busy and homeschooling. And yeah, it is very busy. It's difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's not easy. But what we've got to understand is that farming is schooling.
It is.
We can call it farm school. But as children are outside with you, and we've got children of multiple ages. We have a 2-year-old, 7-year-old. We have 9-year-old, 12-year-old. I mean, they all have their different abilities. You know, the 2-year-old will just sit and play in the dirt, but the 12-year-old will take the rotavator and can actually rotivate, seeds up, helps pack veg boxes, and gets quite involved. But these kind of things help them in their character development, perseverance and diligence, and you know, all of these things. However, on the actual school side of things, you know, there's so many different curriculums out there, and I totally love the Sunlight curriculum. But for us, we have to use that kind of curriculum that's very parent involved, out of season. And when it comes to the actual growing season, we just registered the younger ones. I've used it with my older ones, but we just registered them with Teach or with ACE, so that they're actually able to self-learn. They can sit down at the table and just take out their workbooks and they can just work, and it requires less parent involvement. And that we can use whilst we're in season. So that keeps things consistent.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. Question, Davina.
Okay, go ahead.
Michelle and Robert, do you rent your place or you bought it?
No, we've rented. The property that we're in now is rented.
All of them have been rented.
And the land? And the land?
The land comes with the property.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Just want to say, Michelle and Robert has got, you can find them on YouTube and you can watch their videos and learn more about microgreens, learn more about agriculture, and they will be back on this show to give them more information, more detailed information. So now that you know a little bit more about them and the route that they have taken, they will come back and give you some more information at another time. Thank you very much, Michelle and Robert.
Can I just say, if anybody's interested, if they want to see what's going on our farm, you can go to our website. Our business website is theartisangrower.co.uk. And we're also on Instagram, The Artisan Grower. So, and Facebook as well. So if you want to find, if you want to see what we're doing, you can go to...
Luana, please mute your microphone. Oh boy.
And Constance.
Okay. All right. I will now, is Curlew in the room with us? Charlene Curlew from Nature's Light.
I am. Hello.
Oh, welcome, Curlew. Last week, I must apologize. Last week, Curlew showed about the dandelion and benefits of dandelion. And then because of time, I did say that after the sowing, we would give the question and answer section with the sowing and the dandelion, but we missed out the dandelion, and I got a number of feedback from people who wanted to ask questions about the dandelion. But I must say also that I've got a number of reports this week of people who have tried their dandelion sandwich and they have totally enjoyed it. Right?
Oh, that's good.
Yes, just to say that the show, people are learning and they are putting into practice the things that information that they're getting. So thank you very much. And if you could just give us a quick again, whatever it is you're going to show us today on the
okay. What I'll do, because last week I spoke about pesto, that you can make dandelion pesto. So I'm actually going to show you all how to, well, what I did with garden a pesto. So I'll just do a quick demo.
Sounds delicious.
So, sorry, we're using our laptop. Can you see the ingredients?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So, sorry, I do have a did we know question from my daughter. Go on, Jasmine.
You know when you blow in the wishes, you blow in the
what? Someone say it. What are you blowing?
the seeds.
So what she's saying, when you have the wish, did you know that with the wishes, it's the actual dandelion seeds? So we're just going to show you all. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the dandelion seeds.
Okay, yes, yes.
Yeah, so Jasmine wanted to show you all that with the dandelion seeds. So when you blow it, you're actually spreading God's love around us, around. Yes, yes. So let me show you all. So, pardon? Oh, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this because I do have a food processor, but it don't work as much. It don't work as good as I would like it to. So I'm going to put some basil, a handful of basil.
Okay, someone is saying it's not visible. I don't know, maybe you could bring the screen forward a bit more to you, like down a bit more so they could see the table. Yes, perfect, excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so a handful of basil.
So a handful of basil. So one of my colleagues can type up the recipe, please. A handful of basil.
A handful of dandelion leaves. So these are the dandelion leaves that we've just washed and picked from the garden. And that's going to go in the jug as well. Then we're going to do a handful of nuts. I used cashew nuts, but you can use pine nuts or walnuts if you wish to, or even almond nuts, whichever one you prefer, or even Brazil nuts, whichever one. And then we have 2 cloves of garlic. I love garlic, so you can do 1 clove if you wish, if you want to, but I have 2 cloves of garlic. We have freshly made turmeric powder that we've dried, grated, dried, and then powdered it. So we're just going to put in a teaspoon. I'm using a knife, but a teaspoon in there of the turmeric. And the reason why we're using turmeric is because anti-inflammatory. And then this is yeast flakes. This is the one with B12. So we put a tablespoon. So I'm just going to get a spoon. A tablespoon of yeast flakes in there. And then we're going to juice 1 lemon.
One minute. I did a powder, and I did the root, and there are lemon.
So there's 1 juice of 1 lemon in there, and then a half, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is the pink Himalayan salt. I don't know if you can see that, the pink Himalayan salt.
Pink Himalayan.
So about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my hand blender because it's easier for me to use than a food processor, but you can use a food processor if that's easier for you. Oh, I forgot, I did put a bit of olive oil in mine. Some people may not want olive oil, but I'm going to put a bit of olive oil in mine because it's not heated. So it's about a tablespoon of olive oil. And then we're just going to blend. So I'm just going to, there it is there, but for sake of time, here's one that I did do earlier. Can you see that?
Turn it again, we could see, and if you bring it closer to you.
To me?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's a good view.
Yeah, so there it is, the pesto, the dandelion pesto. There we go.
Are you able to put some of that on a piece of bread or something so we see how it spreads, please?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It looks very healthy, very green.
Yes, and of course it's got all the anti-inflammatory because dandelion is anti-inflammatory. And then you got the turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory. But we're going to put it on some bread. And I made some flatbread earlier for our dinner. So I'll put it on our flatbread.
Okay.
There you go. I don't know if
Does the children like it? Do you like it?
They do. They were eating the jug.
Ah.
So
That's
this is
very good. That's very good.
Yeah, so we're gonna have that later with chickpeas.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So that's what it is, our pesto. But then of course you can do the coffee. What I showed last week, the coffee, which you can do as well if you like your teas.
The dandelion coffee.
Yes, from the root.
Okay, so this is coffee without caffeine.
Yes, the coffee without caffeine.
You don't have to worry about.
Yes. A nice healthy drink.
So what you've got there is the root of the dandelion.
Yeah, so this is the root of the dandelion. Let me turn it, baby. The root of the dandelion, and what we did, this is actually dried already, but when we usually dig it and get the root, which will be fresh, it'll be more softer. And what we did is that we cut it. We would cut it, and then it'll be smaller. This is a bit dry, so it's a bit harder, but cut it into small chunks like that. And then it's small. And then what we did is we'll put it in this tray and then roast it.
Yes, Mom.
So this is another method that you can do.
Yes,
One
how
of the
long do you
methods.
roast it for?
About 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Until all the moisture has come out of it.
Oh, and then
yeah. So when the moisture comes out, and then we would grind it. So you can use a coffee grinder. I know we don't have coffee and coffee beans, but you can use a coffee grinder to do for your dandelion. Or you can use this, the mortar and pestle, and then just beat it.
So could you use a food processor? Because could that ground it powdery enough?
Not, I don't think it will grind it as much as a coffee grinder would.
Okay, or how about the nut grinder?
A nut grinder, yes, that should work.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that should work. There is another machine that you could use. Let me just get it.
Sorry, while we're waiting, Davina, could we actually find out about the dandelion sandwich, please? How to do that?
Dandelion sandwich.
Ashley? I missed it, yeah.
Thank
you.
But you could say again.
It's this.
What is that, sister?
This is another grinder that we have. So we use it for our grains and for like when we're making our own flour for bread. We'll use this, which is very good.
Yeah. So maybe afterwards you can post a link to that so we could, you know, those who are interested would be able to take a further look, because that's a new piece of equipment to me. And I'm a person.
That's fine. I'll show I'm just gonna get some dandelion leaves and I'll show the sandwich. 1 minute. I'll just get it outside.
Sorry, what do we use the powdered roots of dandelion for? Any of my colleagues, Joan, you online, you want to answer that? Joan or Michelle?
You can use it for tea.
Louise, you could use it for tea. What are some of the benefits? Could you just give some of the quick benefits?
Dandelion roots are very good for people who are anemic as well. So anemia, you can use it for that. Dandelion could be good. It's good. We use dandelion as well for the kidneys, but not necessarily in that form. So if you're if you're someone who loves coffee and stuff like that, it tastes, it's not coffee, but it tastes a lot like coffee. So the taste is very natural. It's caffeine free and everything, so you can enjoy it as well.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much for that.
Just in addition to that, about the kidneys, sorry, this is David Anderson Bartholomew here. The dandelion coffee is very good for like individuals who have like lymphedema issues. It can actually help to, it's a good diuretic, as was said, and it will help to reduce swelling in the body, particularly in the lower limbs and so on. Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Okay, I've just got the dandelion leaves. So one sandwich we did, we actually did some plantain.
Yeah, so if you bring the computer screen again down,
Oh, sorry,
so we could see the table. Oh, wonderful, brilliant.
Yeah, can you see it? What we did, we cut the dandelion leaves very fine. All right, what do you think? So we cut it very fine like this. And then what we'll do, this is the flatbread, but we actually use them, the loaf breads that I would make. But I'll just do it on this because I don't have any loaf breads. I'm making some in the oven now, but this is the flatbread. And then just cut it up fine. Put some tomato in, if you like tomato. And then we would put some salt. No, not these ones. No. Put a bit of yeast flakes. And then a bit of the Himalayan salt. That's a bit too much, but just a little bit. Okay. And then this one will be like this because of the flatbread, but as a sandwich, it'll be the two loaves either end, like that.
You could easily use,
and it's really nice.
You can easily use a dandelion leaf in a wrap as well.
Yes.
And in salads.
Yes, in a salad.
Okay, and you could saute it in your stir fries. So you're doing some stir fry noodle with some, maybe some tofu and some dandelion leaves and some cherry tomatoes and some peppers.
Yes, you can have all of that in this. You can do so many different things with dandelion. The soups, the stews, as you said, Davina, the salads, pesto. So you're getting all of that in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, all of the goodness of the dandelion.
A quick question, Sister Shirlene. How do you cope with the bitter taste?
Say that again, sorry.
So yeah, how do you cope with a bit? Is there not a bitter taste to the dandelion?
Oh, the bitter taste. There is a little bit. It's like rocket.
Okay.
Yeah, but what you can do is put a little bit of salt, a little bit of lemon to kind of disguise it.
Okay,
of the
thanks.
bitter taste. So there is a little bit that you can taste.
Please, if you're not speaking. All right, thank you.
Hi, can I ask a quick question there, please?
Yes.
How you make your lamb bread there for me, please?
My flatbread.
Yes. How did you make it?
Like chapati.
It's like, I don't know if you know chapati. So it's just the flat. It's like you're making dumpling. So it's the flour, the water. But I didn't use baking powder or bicarbonate.
What did you use? What kind of flour did you use?
Oh, this one is wholemeal flour. It's Dove's Farm wholemeal flour.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so that's the one that we have.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's just like dumpling, but without the baking powder and so forth. And you can even mix it up, because I was going to put dandelion leaves in the mixture of the flatbread, but I didn't want to go outside, so I didn't do it.
Excuse me, I've got a question.
Okay, all right. Firstly, we need to raise our hands in the.
I've been raising my hand, sister, for a long time. I've been raising my hand.
Not like that. There is a box that you raise your hand, and then I will see some little blue hands, and then I will.
Which box, my sister? I didn't know. I thought you just.
Go ahead, sister.
I've been waving. All right. Anyway, my question is, I've got. You know what? Do you have anything to show the real dandelion? Because I've got some weeds in my garden, and I always, mix it up. So please, can you show me the dandelion so I don't mix it with weeds?
Okay. I'm actually going to give you a little tour.
Yeah.
Just what it looks like outside.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. If you'll be able to see it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here we go. Sorry, I've gone into a mess, but can you see that?
All right.
Can you see it?
Yes,
One
yes.
thing that we've noticed is the dandelion, when the sun is not out, the dandelion is like it's gone to sleep.
Right.
It's like they're gone to sleep, but as soon as the sun comes out, they look absolutely beautiful and they open up, like they're saying to the sun to hit me.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing we've noticed. They close up when there's no sun. But when as soon as the sun comes out, it opens up.
So is it possible for me like to sow it in my garden if I can get the seeds? Where can I get?
Yes, the seed is what my daughter was saying earlier about the wish.
And
this is all the seeds, the dandelion seeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Curlew.
You're welcome.
If anyone has any questions, they need to raise their hands. Somewhere on your screen, you can look, you will see next to your name a place where you can raise your hand, and then we will acknowledge it from there. Otherwise, please do type your message in the chat box, and one of our colleagues will get back to it. Anne, you can speak, please.
Yes, I just want to find out for the dandelion. Is it the same dandelion that grows wild everywhere?
Same one, sister.
Okay. And just want to say my brother actually had commented about the dandelion as a form of diuretic, and that is why it's very good for blood pressure.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, amen. It is.
Okay, Sister Arlene, you could lower your hand, Marie, because you've been answered. Arlene, could you ask your question, please? Okay, we'll move on. Arlene, are you there?
Can I say something? I can't raise my hand. My laptop allow me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I was quite interested in the turmeric. My sister, she's got rheumatoid arthritis, and she was taking turmeric, and she said that it wasn't working as efficiently as I told her. And then you were saying you need at least the amount of what units in it should be about 90,000.
Cayenne pepper. That's cayenne pepper.
Sorry, cayenne pepper. Sorry, not turmeric. Cayenne pepper. Yeah.
Yeah, the minimum you should buy is the 90,000 heat units. It can go up and up, but if you can get 90,000 units, that's the medicinal one, and that's what the one you need to use. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing as well, if she's having arthritis, which is a dietary condition, and it's not going away with the natural remedies, then she needs to do a consultant.
She's on everything. She's having conventional medicine, but she's also looking into having our type of medicine, which is the name is
the natural remedies.
Natural remedies. That's what she's looking into now. I would have actually, if it wasn't for COVID, she would have been in Lucille's house now to have some treatment, but because of she lives in London, so because of the COVID virus, we obviously it's postponed. But
can everybody mute their microphones, please, if you are not talking? Judith, Grace. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You're muted, Grace.
Oh, have I muted her?
Yeah.
Grace, unmute yourself, please.
Unmute, Grace.
Oh.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
That's
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, so we're trying everything, because she was in extreme pain during the cold season between January and February. It was really bad.
Grace, I'm gonna have to ask you, she needs to do a consultancy with someone. That is a consultancy question, and we cannot do that on the platform here. Plus, I've got to round this session up because
that's fine. Okay.
Other speakers who needs to come on now.
Okay.
You can question, please. Association of GMM@gmail.com. Just send us a quick email, and anybody can just give you some advice, even some free advice is fine. So just send us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Of GMM@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Okay. We will now invite Jason, from founder of Waymaker. Jason, are you online?
Yes, I'm online.
Oh, wonderful, fantastic. Oh, look at that. Look at the beautiful sun.
That's not fair, Jason. What are you doing to us?
It's actually winter. It's actually winter. This is winter.
This is winter. You want me to show you outside and it is summer? All right, look, it's good to have Jason and Dr.
Kamasa
with us. And Jason is the founder of Waymaker Ministry, and he will tell you a little bit more about himself, and he will go into a little interview with his doctor there. So Jason, I hand over completely to you now.
You're hearing two of them, so I pause the program.
Miss Vera, could you please mute your microphone because we are hearing your private conversation.
And Savannah, please could you mute?
Yes.
Please mute your microphone. Hello? Can you mute, please?
Ed, pause the program. Just a while, please.
We can hear you.
Okay, go ahead now, Jason. The floor is yours.
And then I'll go back and listen to it.
Oh, you done it?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, yeah.
Yes, I said good afternoon, everyone up there in the UK, America, and the West Indies.
Hello?
Such a pleasure to be able to link up with you on this manner using Zoom. I see a few names there. David, Bartholomew, you know, my old friends. I ain't seen you for a while, brother. Michelle, you know, another one of my old friends. I used to do a lot of work up there in the UK. I'm originally from Jamaica, but I grew up in the UK. And I started this work in after meeting up. Sen?
The reception is poor. You're breaking up.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Much better.
Yes.
Yes. Are you hearing us?
Yes, we are.
Yes. So I was just saying hello to my friends there in the UK, Fish and the rest. We have all together. I am originally from Jamaica and grew up in the UK, where I started the missionary work after doing training with members over there in Tennessee, and then we looked out in Grenada, where we had a very successful ministry. But the Lord, in His providence, has moved me on. I now minister from South Africa. We've been doing the medical missionary work now for a while. Myself, I think I've been doing it since I was in my late 20s. I'm not going to tell you my age now, but I've been doing it since then. And God has been good. He's been gracious, and we have seen His hands in how He moves. Currently, I'm here in South Africa. Been here since 2014 or 2013, I don't remember. But one of those years, I came from Grenada and I came here. Been working here extensively, doing the same work, medical missionary. First used to do it field, door-to-door work. I used to do that for a while in South Africa. And then the Lord blessed the ministry. And I was able to open up home-style sanitarium in KwaZulu-Natal, where we do extensive work in how we deal with this. We look at all kind of conditions, and we have a wide variety of approach to dealing with diseases. I don't work by myself. I have a team that I work with, a team of other Adventist professionals and lay people alike. And we do see our 24/7. Even today, we have to fit this into our schedule as we are under lockdown. As you know, we are not taking client patients in or living too much because of the restriction that's placed. Our ministry had to take on its original form, which is doing home visit and house-to-house work. And so what we do, we from house to house, doing our treatment and our accordingly. It's been a wonderful experience thus far. It's had its ups and downs, its challenges, but God has been faithful right along the way. In our clinic, tell you a bit about our clinic. In our clinic, we are, you name the spectrum, but here in our, because we have a combined work. Here beside me is Dr. Komotso. She works with me. She's a medical doctor. She would tell you her story. I myself, I've done nutrition, and I'm a certified natural health professional. And so combining those two work, the alternative therapies with the medical therapy, but understanding the guidelines and limitation of both work, we combine them very well to give the people a system of healing, and that they can feel confident knowing that from the medical eye, from the perspective of the medical eye, they're safe, and also from the alternative eye, they're also safe. So once a client books into our clinic, the first thing we will do after we do a one-on-one consultation, we do the necessary tests based on what we pick up. We do the blood tests, x-rays, whatever. We have our own CT scan. God has blessed us like that. And so we have our ultrasound, and we have our microscopes and everything. So we can do quite a bit in-house. But some of the work we outsource for blood tests so we can know what's going on. Once we got a proper diagnosis of a patient, then we are able to better structure our treatment to meet that and need, then take it from there, use alternative therapy and medical supervision. If using dandelion, because we know dandelion is good for, it's a good diuretic and it works on the liver, then we will be able to do a liver test to know if the liver is getting better or if it's getting worse. That's a system we have here. And that the Lord has blessed me with in a wonderful way. I can't come online now, but he's online. If you look on there, you see two young fellas under a name called Kwamp Emani. It's KWAMQEMANE. They're on there. Look at them. They are also workers along with us. They're on Zoom here with you. And that's my food technician and my good old friend, Brother Ray. He's our media man. And, you know, he's our motivator. Let's call him that as well. But Victor Koza, you will see him on Quantumani Zoom. He's our this year, Dr. Lua, our medical physician, resident physician. She will tell you more about what she does, and she became all of us who function at administrative level and operation level. We are all at this, and this is our ministry that we do from day to day as we work together. There's much more we can tell you. We perhaps will do a program for you one day as your program develops. And I'm so happy. Before I go, I don't know how, but Dave and Jonathan, Charlene, and they will tell you was doing training. We did a lot of training in the UK. Did a lot of training in the UK. I'm so happy because a lot of the guys I trained then, I see that the ones leading the work now. It encourages indeed a blessing. And I want the Lord to continue to bless the work guys are doing in the UK and worldwide. because we know that the health work is the last work that we'll be able to do. I'm going to give also tell you about herself and what she does. And perhaps another time I will bring Tuck and Ray, and then can also share with their experience working along this. All right, Dr. Kamoso.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Anybody, can you hear us?
Please mute Miss Vera.
I hear us.
Yes.
Yes, yes, Jason, yes.
But the reception is not very good. So, yeah, but we're hearing you though.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. As I said, I'm also Louisa McCarthy. I'm a medical doctor. I graduated from UCT, University of Cape Town, in 2005. I was not born into the Adventist faith. I was born and I was baptized in the Anglican Church, joined the Lutheran Church. That's where I grew up. I wanted to be a lawyer, but my mom did not approve. So I
calm down, baby, calm down.
No real. And then my mom has always said I was idealistic. I actually believe that doctors cure people and make people better. So after graduation in 2005, and I started working as an intern, I realized that there were limitations in the health system, but I didn't quite understand what they were. I actually quit medicine 3 times in the space of 5 years, trying to find how I can truly be of help to people. Because what I noticed was that people were sick and my interventions were not really working, especially in the medical ward. People would come in and you could tell that they were going to die and the interventions were not much. People were on chronic medication and there were side effects. And I remember asking one of the senior doctors, is this what we do for the rest of our lives? And she said, yes, you just get used to it. But I couldn't. So finally, after about 4 years of being a doctor, I quit and I started a business. It worked well until somebody stole the idea. So all I had to lean back on was being a doctor. So somebody encouraged me. They said, what is the issue? And I said, well, people are sick and they're dying and we can't do anything for them. And they said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to tell them how not to get sick. And they said, well, that sounds like preventative medicine. Why don't you go into that? And then I realized as a doctor, I did not learn preventative medicine. I had learned disease management and I was not happy with disease management because it just made you a patient for the rest of life. And so in 2020, I opened up a wellness center and started to learn on my own, combining with the blood test, what's making people, and I realized that a lot of lifestyle issues they ate, but I didn't have, because I was not Adventist, I didn't have the knowledge. Actually, by the time I had even left the Lutheran church, because I was angry with God. I was saying people are dying and he's up there in heaven and he's comfortable. They're dying and I'm going to do his work. I remember I had you're not crying, can't fix the world. And I said, yeah, if I was, I could just touch it and they would be healed. But in the absence of that, I can use what I do know and what I do have. So for 5 years, wellness, that was specifically a women's wellness center. I see a measure of success in telling women changes, exercising, no basics that could go on the information, and I started getting better. Then my business as a doctor was going down. I wasn't making money because I used to consult once a week because once you realize they're not drinking water, they come to consult me. I was that. Well, I'm happy that we did that, but I just not make it sustainable. So when I ended business school, actually in 2015, I learned to go to the US on Mama Fellowship. And when I was, but at that time I had reached the in terms of I do people. So I had decided that when I back from the US, if I didn't learn anything more, I had got a piece of it from a tribal council. I was going to go and giving. And so I went to the US as a last whole thing. When I was there, I had a man who was also on the program and he used to pray a lot. And I said, if me and him are to get along, he must not talk to me about God. He just leave God in heaven where he was. And he said, that's fine. What do you want to talk about? And I said, health. And he's happy to talk to me about how he knew quite a lot for somebody who was a financial engineer, was from Zambia. So he started to change me on my medical knowledge, like why you drink? And I said, but milk good for you. Everybody knows it's good for your bones. And he said, well, bring me my recently. And when I realized that 75% of the world's population is intolerant. Hello?
Yeah, the sound reception is very poor.
Okay. Let me see if, can you hear me now?
It's very good.
All right. Yeah, so we started to talk about health, and he started to interrogate me about my belief in country living and in homeschooling. I had always said if I had kids, I wouldn't send them to the schools of the world because I felt that what I had learned was not really of much benefit. And he kept saying that God loved me. But anyway, in a nutshell, as he continued challenging me about health, eventually he said to me, why don't you try a vegan diet? Now, at that time, I used to eat steak for breakfast. I would eat meat 3 times a day. I loved my ice cream. I loved my milk. And for 10 days, I went on this plant-based diet. And literally, I felt my system lighter. And my mind started to be able to work faster. And if there's anything I love is studying. So if I could study for longer, I loved it. And so I asked him, how do you know so much about health, not being in the field? As I said, he was a financial engineer. And he said, well, my church has a health message. I just dismissed that. It was part of what's doing, so I wasn't really interested. But every Friday night to Saturday night would disappear, and he was going to church on the day. But eventually I asked him if I go into church, and it was healthy.
Sorry, can you mute those
learning
people
about
because I can't
health
hear a
from
word
God's
she's saying.
perspective.
Those people who were speaking, you need to mute. Everybody needs to mute so we can hear what's being said, please.
Yeah, I've muted them. I've muted those people. Carry on, doctor.
Thank you.
All right. So I went to church. I went to church on Sabbath for the first time, and it was day. And so it was interaction. I had been in church where the teacher can say what is they thought. I think it was Sabbath school and Sabbath lesson. And then afterwards, there was a very nice vegan lunch. I thought, wow, a whole lunch without any meat and animal products. But what was most powerful in the afternoon, one of the missionaries showed how to do steam inhalation and a hot foot bath. And I remember sitting there with my arrogant doctor self thinking, so you're going to treat a migraine by putting somebody's feet in warm water. Good luck with that. But already I had dismissed using medication, but I didn't have an alternative for somebody. Anyway, then somebody gave me the book Ministry of Healing to read. When we got back to where we were staying, one of the fellows actually had a very bad migraine, and they came to me because I was a doctor on the group. And so I thought, well, I have nothing to lose. So I did a hot foot bath on them. I did it very properly. And true enough, when I was done, his headache was completely gone. He even went clubbing. That's how well he felt. And then I thought, what is this? So I went back and I read the book Ministry of Healing, and I did some research on hydrotherapy. And then I then said to him, who's the doctor in your church who wrote this book on Ministry of Healing, the other books that I had? And it was a prophet. Now that was another like together. But from that, I was convinced and I was convicted that there was a God in him, and he had loved the world so much that he actually gave a health message. And so that's why I came this. I read the books on health, and I saw that benign part.
Doctor, we've lost you. Doctor, we have lost you.
But in time, after having a medicine,
can you hear us now?
Yes, we can.
Face the mic and speak. I think it's when you keep turning.
So I worked a missionary from 2015 up until 2017, traveling African countries, Tanzania, Kenya, Zambia. And And then when I met in 2017, people said, have you met Jason Williams? I said, no, and I don't want to meet Jason Williams because I'm going to need to stay in South Africa. But I ended up coming to the center and started working together, and started interrogating me about my use of my having neglected the mental aspect of things. And we started to look at how something could use, like using the bloods to check somebody needed, they were not able to eat and they needed a drip, and how vitamin C's and all these other different infusions could use, you know, to help save lives while we teach people about changing their lifestyle. So in a nutshell, that is the story of how the Lord came and sought me out when I was about to give on the world and all the systems, and him, I had already given on him. And so in bringing me to the world, also my own salvation offered to, and for that I am very grateful. I hope you got to hear what was necessary.
And also with the combination, having Dr. Komoso and myself working together in South Africa, we are not the loudest, but indeed we are one of the most equipped wellness center that you will find in the country, because of the variety of holistic natural treatment, and then how we have integrated it with the medical practice. Now, the benefit of that, as you can imagine, is wonderful. You can just come here and you don't need to worry about a doctor. You don't need to worry about a hospital. We can do it all right here. A lot of time when I used to work as a medical missionary back there in Grenada, and I always teach medical missionary training when I teach it. One of the things we teach, do not, diagnosis is not your business as a medical missionary, but the side what we have here, or the advantage is that we can diagnose and take care of the problem all in-house, legally, so we can do that using alternative therapies, and that's been a wonderful blessing. You know, and we want to continue to work as the Lord prepares to come, because we understand that this is the work that is going to bring things to a closure, opening up doors and bringing things to a close. And we're so happy to be able to share with you. And we tap in every Sunday. Keep doing the wonderful work, guys. We love it. We love it so much. It's wonderful. It's great. It's a privilege to be on there with you. Hey, Louise, how you doing? Louise came here to train with us. You know, we do a training program for people who want to do advanced medical missionary training, like, you know, understand a little bit deeper beyond just the simple remedies. You want to understand anatomy, physiology at the deeper level in regards to diseases. We do that level of training here under eyes. So Louise has been here, you know, wonderful lady, and she supports us so. And Jonathan and Shane, my good friends, Joan, you know, love you all, and keep praying for us as we keep praying for you. You guys, you know, work, wonderful work. You know, the dream come true. Amazing, amazing. I'm happy.
Amen.
Any questions can throw it.
Thank you very much, Jason. We're going to ask for the questions to be typed in the chat. Because of the interest of time, we've got one more speaker. If you have any question that you can't type, you need to raise your hand, but we're going to have to move on. But Jason, people want to know where you are in South Africa. So I'm going to ask you to respond in the chat. I want you to just go on and check the chat and see some of the message, some of the questions, and if you could respond to them as well, please. Thank you. Joan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Davina. Yes,
okay, all right. Before I hand over to you, Joan, I just want to say, everyone in the link, we've got our sewing school that is starting on Monday the 11th, right? Which will be, it's six sessions, and each session is 2 hours each, and it's gonna be from Monday the 11th, Tuesday and Thursday, and then the following week the same day, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And it is £50 per person. The link will be posted in the chat, where you can find all the details to pay. When you pay, you will get the resource list of the things that you need to get, like your sewing machine, your threads. It will also give you, all the registration details. You'll be able to register and everything there. So the link will be posted in the chat. Okay, I just got a text from Lois saying don't post yet. Okay, don't post us yet. All right, well, what you do, email association of gmm@gmail.com, and we will send you the links, because they're still working on the site right now to make everything available, so you can actually pay for it online, and then you would get the Zoom password that you would need to get into the classroom. You'd get the Google Classroom as well, where you'd go to get your resources and like materials that the teacher will post for you. And then you would have also the area where you get to pay your details. So they're saying to me, don't post the link as yet. Obviously, it's not quite ready. They're working on it. But you can email associationofgmm@gmail.com. I will hand over to Joan quickly. Can you mute your microphone, please, Elizabeth?
My signal is very poor, but I'm going to call on Michelle. Michelle, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Hi,
I'm
Michelle.
here.
How are you, my dear? So,
I'm
Michelle,
fine, thanks.
lovely. And thank you to Jason and our doctor for such a wonderful testimony, such a fantastic encouragement. So
Yes.
Michelle is going to now show us how to make lozenges, make your own cough sweets. So it's over to you, Michelle.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I did a little video that I wanted to share. Let me just get my screen, share my screen. I share the video.
Michelle, you're frozen.
Just a moment. I'm trying to share the screen.
We're only here for 5 minutes. Oh, lovely. If you're not speaking, please mute your microphone.
Can you see that?
It looks lovely.
All right. So that's the mixture. Actually, I had a video. Let me go back, please. Just a minute.
Jody, please mute. Please mute.
All right, never mind that. One moment.
Sorry, I muted.
I wanted to show the video, but that's the finished product. That's the finished product for the sweets. Can you see those?
That looks like chocolate.
Yes.
Sweet.
All right.
So what is it, Michelle? Can you tell us a little bit more about this lovely, delicious looking product?
Yes, I've prepared a PowerPoint and I'm trying to see if I could actually get the thing up. Good Lord. Okay, Mayman Wilson had a formula for these throat lozenges. And so I actually bought all the stuff and I added some more to it. And I'm seeking to share that with the group. Let's see if it's, are you able to see that?
Yeah.
All right, so these are the actual ingredients in there. We'll post this in an email for the people. But basically, what I've done is I've listed all the benefits of the lysine. Lysine helps the immune system. If someone has herpes, cold sores, and so on, it helps with that. It helps the uptake of zinc. The throat lozenges actually clears the nasal passages and your sinuses and keep your throat stronger for 4 hours when you go out. So even if you were exposed, you should be able to fight off a virus should in case you become susceptible to one of them. All right. And it takes a little while to make the stuff, but you need to purchase organic honey. This sugar, turbinated sugar, is not as processed as regular brown sugar or white sugar. And so the health benefits to the system is more effective. So we use that type of sugar. There's a lung tonic tea, and it has several ingredients, but you could use mullein instead of the lung tonic tea. The menthol crystals, colloidal silver is a natural antibiotic. Right. Then you can add the essential oils such as peppermint or eucalyptus. I actually have spearmint in mine, licorice root powder, and then you would boil this, and you have to get some molds. Now, one second. The molds that I've used, I'll stop sharing. Can you see this? Oops.
Yes, Michelle.
Yeah, so it's these little molds here. You can buy them on eBay or Amazon, and then you'll get the finished product that looks like this. Because of time, we will actually, if you share your emails in the email us, Sister Davina have shared the email address, then I could send you the PowerPoint and the video that I've prepared with the mixture and everything. So you'll have that to hand, and you can source the products in good health stores or online and try and make them yourself. And failing that, if you'd like, I can make them and supply them to you.
I like the sound of that, Joan. I have a lot on my plate already, so you can send me my first batch. Which I'll do for myself and my clients, but please do send me my first batch. I really don't have time to make everything.
I'm so sorry I wasn't able to show the video, because the video would just give you a good feel of what it feels, what the consistency and so on that you're looking for.
Tell us, Joan. I mean, not Joan, Michelle.
Yes.
What it is for.
Well, I didn't want to use a C word, but okay.
Does everybody see that clearly? Is that the
it's
right
upside
way?
down. It's upside down. So I actually.
Can everybody see it?
No. It's a COVID.
Yes.
It's an anti-COVID-19 throat lozenge. And what happened is I made my first batch, but I actually didn't have the right. I just had one mold to put the stuff in. So I had a lot left over and I had this excess. So I panicked and put it in a Pyrex dish. And now I have to physically cut it in blocks or chunks. And I've been sharing it with people to give them a taster. People who have actually been affected with COVID before, they still have some issues with their chest. And I'm telling you, when you put one of these, let me just show, you can't see, but the effect, when you put one in your mouth, it's like your nasal passages opens up and you could smell stuff in China. Believe me, that's how potent the thing is. So I've shared it. You just put it in the mouth and let it sit at the top of the roof of your mouth. It will just melt away and you will just start breathing better, smelling better. So a lot of people with COVID, they lose their sense of smell. And so this will also help with that.
Send me mine in next day delivery, please.
So you can contact me via email and or WhatsApp me.
Go ahead, give your WhatsApp.
My number?
Oh, you could type it in the box.
Yes, I will.
In the chat. Lovely. Thank you very much, Michelle.
You're welcome, sis. Let's see.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
You're welcome, Steve.
Thank you. Waiting for my delivery.
Yeah. So
Me
Davina,
too.
it's over to you, Davina.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. Can you just imagine, I am literally still admitting people to the, to the meeting at this time. We are about to finish. And I just want to say thank you very much to everyone for coming. But before you go off, just a few reminders. We still do have our Bible study from 2 to 4 p.m. daily. That recommences on a new topic on Monday. They covered Daniel, the book of Daniel, particularly zooming in on Daniel chapter 11 with Brother Clement. And we are asking for donations so we can cover his data because he's zooming in from Bolivia, and also to contribute towards that Zoom account. We have the sewing starts on Monday the 11th, and that whoever is interested in doing the sewing can always email us and they'll get the details for the logging in. Just want to say to everyone that even though we are planning and designing a very advanced medical missionary course, right, that will come out soon. In the meantime, until we come out, there is Mammon Wilson, who will be doing a free certificated medical missionary course. I don't know if Sylvie is able to say a bit more about that. I think it starts on the 11th as well. And we are encouraging everybody to do that because then it will give you an advantage in our course when it starts, because you would be able to get some credits transferred. You wouldn't have to do everything. And the course that we are gonna do will be able to give you either a diploma or a degree in medical missionary training. Now, Sylvie, are you there? Can say a little bit more about Mammon Wilson's course that starts on Monday?
Yes, Mammon Wilson is has been in this trade of medical missionary for over 47 years. Is one of the person all of us would like to train under his feet. He is offering us a 3-week intensive course, and it's free. All you have to do is to give a donation, because as you can imagine, a lot of work goes into putting together these courses. But really and truly, the goal is that we should all, and I mean all, be trained medical missionary. So this is an opportunity that we should all grab. You know, he's going to teach you a little bit more, and it will be very easy for the people who are just starting. So I recommend it very highly. Please, 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 just go on and look for Mammon Wilson on Facebook. It's been advertised there, and all the details of how to sign up and be a part of this. Let's all be prepared. This is the kind of work that the Lord wants us to do. It is the right hand of the gospel. We all have to be involved. So please take it away as we prepare and train so many other things, country living, like Davina has been saying, knitting, everything that is our hands can get to do is what we need to be involved in, so that when we go to the country, we can be self-sustaining. We can be able to earn and do not depend on the government or on the given job. We have to be our own employers. And this is where God wants us to be. Amen?
Thank you very
Amen.
much. And you know, with that saying, just want to remind everyone, we are starting the Bethesda, which means, which you can read it as well, be the SDA, Uniservity, right? And we are coming with advanced courses that will help you to prepare to relocate into the country and how to sustain yourself as well as your family, and how we can build our own community as Adventists, right? So just keep looking out for that. Every week we come, we'll give you more and more information, and we will have our website up soon where you will be able to go and check for information yourself. We do have a Facebook page where we will be posting information, and that Facebook page is on my page, which is Davina Gale, I think. Is that it, Sylvie? You're on mute, we can't hear you.
Yes, on Facebook, when you go on Davina Gale, there's a group of AGMM group. So you can go there. You can send your request. Everything will be said there. The health nuggets and everything is being developed right now. Probably if you go right now, you might not find a lot of things, but this is something we are building. This is our 3rd week. So please just bear with us. We are putting everything together. Eventually we'll get there. Pray for us. Pray for us. And come and join us, medical missionaries. Please come and join us.
Excellent. Oh, fantastic. Just want to say thank you to Joseph, who helps us to live stream on YouTube. Advent Nation, is that the name of his?
Advent Nation, Advent Nation, and Joseph is helping every Seventh-day Adventist who's doing business to come, and that's a portal for all of us to advertise ourselves so that we can be out there and people can know who we are. And Joseph has done a great job. Thank you, Joseph.
Just want to say thank you very much to all the presenters today. Don't want to miss any name, but we got Sylvie, we had Pastor Sam, we had Joan, we had Michelle, we had Roberta and Michelle, we had Lucille, we had Charlene Carlieu, we had Jason and the doctor. Did I leave anyone out? Next week. Next week. Yeah. Go ahead, Joan.
And I just quickly say, I just saw a chat. I just saw a message. There's a men's ministry on health on this coming Sabbath with Jason Williams and some of the medical missionary guys in England.
Oh, excellent.
On Zoom.
Okay, we will share the Zoom link. Is it able to put it in the chat? There are a few hands actually that are up. There are a couple of hands. Cynthia, you want to ask your question, and then Paulette, and then Judith. Cynthia, Paulette, then Judith, if you just ask your question so we can quickly answer if you haven't been answered as yet, and then Fred. Cynthia, Paulette, Judith, then Fred. Okay, Paulette. Okay, Audrey.
Sorry, I just wanted to find out about the men's ministry health course. If you could just post that on the chat, then we could actually be able to be involved in that. For the UK guys, yeah.
Okay, so that's a men's ministry link for the men's ministry Zoom. We can post it in the chat as well as on the Facebook group, so people can have access to it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask Sylvia a quick question, because I have been using the cayenne pepper for a while, and now I'm hearing that it's a different one for health. But what I've decided, I'll give her a call if that's okay with her. And also the recipes for the different things, are you going to be posting them, or can we get it on the internet?
Yes, about cayenne. Cayenne, so many people go and buy cayenne and in supermarkets and everywhere, it's everywhere, but that's for cooking. Yeah, that's for cooking. Yeah, that's the Costco one. That's for cooking. You need to go online on Amazon, and when you're ordering, put in organic 90,000 heat units cayenne. At least that's the minimum. That's the medicinal one. It can go up in the strength, but at least you should have 90,000 heat units
minimum.
All right, because I've been using it for a while, and for health reasons, and I realized, okay, so it's the wrong one I had all the time.
Yes. That one is being mixed in with so many other things, so that is not good. Yeah.
Yes, similar to paprika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next person, please, who wanted to ask their questions, whose hand is up? Paulette.
But there's like news title, which is quite realistic.
Okay, who is talking in the background? Okay. Paulette, you've got your hand up. Would you like to ask a question? Cynthia, let me lower your hand. Paulette, I will lower your hand as well because you've changed your mind.
I haven't changed my mind.
Well, please go ahead and ask the question.
Okay.
We can't hear you though. You're sounding very far away from your microphone.
Oh, right. Okay. Can you hear? All right. I tell you what. Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay. First question is the dandelion that was spoken about. Do we know whether it helps with diabetes or not? Because there have been studies that showed that it can help control diabetes. And then the second question is to do with the lozenges for the COVID-19. The lozenges have got sugar in them, and we know that sugar, it down-regulates the fighter cells, the white blood cells that increase the immune system. So I just want to know whether the sugar you're using, has it been tested? Does it do that or not? Thank you.
Okay, can I just answer that quickly? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, can I just say that we cannot give advice on people with certain health conditions online like this. We've been saying this throughout because we need to have a little bit more information in regards to dealing with this type of personal issue, lifestyle disease and lifestyle issues. So please contact the association, just get onto contact with the association, and that we will get back to, one of us will get back to you and try and do a consultation with you so that you can have better information, because we cannot just offer out this information because what we may say to you may not apply to somebody else, and this is across the general board. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sister.
Thank you. Association email has just gone online. Thank you very much, Joan. So please contact the association through that link, and then someone will come back into contact with you. Thank you.
Also, thank you, Sister Louise. But just to say, the sugar used is not regular sugar, and there are enough ingredients in there to support the immune system. So even if we were worried about sugar and what it would do, the stuff works synergistically to enhance the immune system.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Michelle. There was one more hand.
Yep, I've got my hand up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just want to ask a question about the dandelions. So basically, I think you said last week the heads of the dandelion you can use as tea to put it in a cup, but could you also use the heads to boil it? And if you were to boil it, because I know with the leaves you can boil and it doesn't break up, but could you boil the heads? And if so, how long could you reuse it?
Yes, you can. You can take the heads of the dandelion and then just and boil it as a tea. As a tea. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, you can boil the heads of it as well as a tea.
Does it not break up?
No, it don't. No, not the wish, but just the yellow bit.
Yeah, the yellow bit.
So
and how long could you reuse it for?
No.
I would personally just do it once. I
right, okay.
reused it again. I'll just pick it and have it in the tea and then get rid of it and then get a fresh one.
Can I just say also with dandelion you can dry them, so when you dry the leaves and the head,
so
it lasts longer, so you can dry it and use it as a tea, or you can make a decoction from it, and you'll make sure you simmer it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Basically to dry it, just leave it to dry.
There is one announcement. Pastor Sam Davis.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, excellent. You wanna
Yes. Could I just make an announcement before we go, Davina? Thank you. We are having a support group for those who are grieving. And in this time of COVID, a lot of Adventists have lost their loved ones, whether close or extended family. And so we want to have a support group next week, Sunday. Next week, Sunday at 4 p.m. So we will be meeting, and I will send, if I will ask you, Davina, I'll send you the details, and you'll just post that on our site for us, or send it out to the group, and they can have that information.
Excellent, will do. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, it's now 10 minutes, it's now 11 minutes past 2. We love you all, and we wish we could stay here with you all day. But the Lord that we serve is a God of time, and we have already gone over. So I'm gonna have to say bye. I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to say bye.
You're doing a brilliant job. Well done.
Joan, you're awful.
My husband
That
was
is awful, Joan.
Thank you.
Ingrid. Oh, good for you, John. Good for you.
Thanks, Davina.
Thank you very much. I heard Sister Gloria's voice, but can't see your face. But thank you all for coming and supporting.
Just shouting out to you, Frank.
My husband found in the garden.
Oh,
Yeah, Davina, praise the Lord, man. God bless you.
Amen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to make your banana bread. I'll bring it over.
Hi.
Hi, Jenny.
Thank you for
bless you all.
Davina, thank you very much.
God bless. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Dave, Ellen, Sam.
Hello.
Yes. Somebody saying hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Are we going to pray?
Can we pray, please? Can we pray to close?
Are we able to pray before we leave?
Yes, please. Okay. Can we settle down and pray?
Yes.
Pastor Sam, would you like to pray for us, please?
He's still there.
I think Pastor is gone. You could pray, Sylvie.
Okay, let's pray. Let's pray. Almighty God and our Father, what a wonderful God you are, Lord. And what a wonderful time that you have given us, Lord, to come together as your children, to share important information in the time like this, Lord. I pray, Father, that everything that we get to do, everything that we have to prepare, may you be the lead and the director in each and everything, Lord. Father, you know each one of us. You know our struggles, and you know our desires, Lord. May you come to each and every one of us, Lord, and listen to our cryings and our groans, Lord. You know even those unspoken words, oh Father, Lord. May you prepare for us where we need to go, those who need to move out of the city, those who need to prepare to get something that they can earn from in the country. Oh, Father, Lord, there are so many things that we need in this time. I pray, Father, that you be the only lead in everything that we are doing. And thank you, Lord. May you protect those who are not well, those who are lonely in their houses. Father, be with them all. Your eye is seeing to all the nation. You see where we cannot see, oh Father. Please be there, Almighty God. In Jesus' name, Father, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All the strategic team. Hello. Could the strategic team remain?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't send me one of her cookies, that is.
So we love you and leave you. We shall see you next Sunday.
Beloved.
Bye. God bless. Bye.
God bless.
Mom. Bye, everyone. Hi, Sharon. Mom.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Shirley.
Hello, Mrs. Curlew.
Mom.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. See you next time.
Don't start that conversation again. We have to go.
Mom said don't start.
Bye,
Mom.
everyone. See you all next week.
They're leaving now.
Bye.
That other guy looked familiar.
Davina? She gone?
Davina.
She gone.
She must be there.
Davina.
Davina?
She gone.
They're the ones
Hi, Brother and Sister Stevenson.
God bless you
Bless you.
We still have 110 persons in the chat.
Hi, Michelle.
If I can help by removing people.
Davina,
Yes,
how are you?
I am good, thank you.
I get to understand we are neighbors.
Oh, who am I speaking to? Let me see.
Joan's son-in-law.
Are we?
Joan's son-in-law.
Jason.
Joan's son-in-law.
Is it?
Yes.
Really?
I'm her daughter. So that's who you're speaking to.
Which Joan? This Joan?
Joan.
I'm lost. Fill me in.
Huh?
Fill me in, I'm lost.
Joan is my mother.
Which Joan? This Joan Cornwall?
That Joan Cornwall. So you're speaking to her son-in-law. He's calling you.
Whoa.
Charlene,
Yeah?
where are you from?
What do you mean? Nottingham.
No, originally.
Oh, all over, Sylvie.
She's from Joan.
Because I was born in America. Mom's from here. Dad's from Trinidad. My dad.
You look like my sister.
That's
lovely. From
oh dear.
Wow, God is good.
Oh, we're still live on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, because guess what? Joseph had to run. So he left.
He left. Oh no.
We're live on YouTube.
Can you stop it, Davina?
No, I can't. It's from his device. Unless
all right.
We can log out and then it will end it, and then the AG
come back in.
Yeah.
Okay. In 3 minutes.
I'm gonna have to try and remove everyone to make sure everyone gets out.
I'm going.
No, you can leave automatically. Everybody will leave.
No, because you see, I've given Joseph the host, so only he can end the meeting. If I leave, everybody will still be sitting here.
Everybody.
Yes. This is a big job, boy. Daily, I'm gonna remove you.
I'm full.
Just me, I'm gonna remove you.
Then why are you drinking water? You can't, you've just eaten.
Arlene, I'm gonna remove you.
Eating and you're drinking water.
People, can you remove yourselves, please? Save me the job. There's still 53 people. Oh boy. Trevor, I'm gonna remove you. I think if, yeah, speak. Laurel, I'm removing you. Can everyone remove themselves, please? It's not supposed to be a part. We're finished and we meet again next Sunday. I still have 35 people to remove. And I have 2 people waiting in the waiting room. Seriously. Dorothy, I'm gonna remove you even though you're just connecting, not sure why. Robert, Pauline, and Johnson. Oh boy. Sylvia, are you still there?
Yeah.
Are you able to find the other link for the other meeting, you know, that we normally go on for the Bible study? And if we just join in that, I leave these people here, they can.
No, they're about to finish. Just go, carry on. Just carry on.
Okay.
People, can you just leave? People can just click on leave and leave, you know?
But they're not.
People wants to still see us.
Oh. Robert, I'm removing you. Shazza. Carrie-Ann.
But they're on this as well.
Yes, could you, yeah, could you please remove yourselves? Can you please leave the meeting? We're finished. Because we are finished.
Because more people, some people were on YouTube and that's where I here.
I
got chopped up.
But why are they saying leave the meeting?
Because we're finished and people
Yeah,
don't want
you're
to leave.
finished. Yeah, so that would be good. Come in. You've been locked out. Okay, Ghana. I'm removing you. Miss Alpha, can you remove yourself, please? We're finished. Yes, thank you. Bye. Okay. Remove. Galaxy 8, Galaxy X S8. I hope that's not one of the AGMM. Nana Antonito. Okay. Lionel, I'm hungry. Cook anything, I will eat it, please. No, you see, I have some soup on the fire. Just make my soup hot for me and then you can cook for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, we've got brown rice, the bottom of the cupboard. Who else to go? Savannah, who?
Savannah, Cecilia, Michelle. Oh, Michelle is there.
Where's Cecilia? There's this one next to Michelle. Savannah.
This is all still on YouTube, Davina. We need to end this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to.
And the people on YouTube are not going either. 17 people are still there.
17?
Yeah.
Seriously. Hi. Good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Cecilia, we're gonna remove you. Who is left to remove?
And Grace?
Where's Grace? I can't see any Grace. I see
There's
Virtue.
Grace.
Oh, Grace, yeah. Okay. Joseph. Well, we can remove Joseph so this can stop live streaming. Oh, I can't remove Joseph.
He's a host.
He's a host.
Let me call him. Let me try and call him.
Please call him. I need a bottle of water. I need to sit down. I've been standing all this time, which is very good.
Wow.
My fingers are tired from clicking.
Good job, Sister Davina. Thank
Praise
you so
the
much.
Lord. I'm glad we had such a
Thank
big
you all. God is good.
Credit where credit is due, man.
Yeah. Jeez, I'm even sweating.
Are you still on YouTube?
Yeah, some people are still there. 17 people won't leave.
Oh. Oh, wow.
This is funny.
Wow.
God, we give you thanks. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. We give you all the praise. Continue to use us.
You're doing a good job. Very good. Very good. Yeah.
6 people have entered the waiting room. No,
Oh, no.
Let me see. It may be our 6. No. I'm just gonna remove them. Remove.
Wow.
Oh, firstly, let me message them in the waiting room so they know that